Roberto Monaco here with InfluenceOlogy, and in today's video I want to share with you one of my latest lessons that I learned during my public speaking engagements. Now recently I was invited to do a presentation for this group and I had 25 minutes, not 26, 27, 25 and a half, I had 25. So because I already done 7 presentations where I have a very specific time to do it, I outline my talk and I rehearse. I actually, for this specific talk, I went over 16 times. So 16 times I rehearsed the whole thing from A to Z and I time it. And my goal was to do the talk not under 25 minutes, under 24. Just to have this extra minute, just in case. So during my 16 rehearsals, every single time I was like 23 minutes and 42 seconds, 23 minutes and 58 seconds. I was always under 24. So I knew going in to the presentation, I had this extra minute. So I went to the event and I did my talk. I didn't add any words or phrases. And when I had like maybe 1 minute left to finish up my presentation, the MC looked at me and goes, "Dude, you gotta stop." So I just finished up my talk quickly, and then people, applaud and everything was good. But I was like, man, how come I went over my presentation? I rehearsed, I delivered the same talk. Now, when I rehearsed the talk, because I've done talks like that before, I was counting 2 things. Number 1, I was really pausing during my rehearsal, because usually when you have a presentation and you deliver your talk and you're just by yourself in your office, you don't count for the pauses. So I count the pauses, time for pauses. And also, when I was asking a question to my imaginary audience, I was pausing to hear the feedback. So even my interaction with the audience was planned into my 24-minute rehearsals. And I'm like, how come I went over? By the way, I went over 50 seconds because I record the talk. So I went to my hotel, I'm like, yeah, I went over 50 seconds. Not 1 minute, 50 seconds. And I'm like, I cannot believe it. The same talk that I rehearsed, same talk, 16 times, I deliver, and I was under 24 minutes. Now I'm like 25 minutes and 50 seconds. How is that possible? And I didn't count for 2 things that I never thought about it. Number 1, when someone introduces you, the guy goes, let's give a big hand to Roberto Monaco, everybody, clap. That time between you walk and shake the MC's hand and start talking, I didn't account for that. And I think the clock started running. So that maybe that 20 seconds, I wasn't accounting for that. And the second thing, more surprisingly, thing that I wasn't accounting for is that during my talk, I had a couple jokes and people were laughing really hard. And at one point they started laughing and maybe, I think they laughed like 15, 20 seconds because I couldn't start speaking right away, and I didn't account for that. So the lesson is this: if you have this type of TED Talks or presentations where you only have like say 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or you're doing these big events and time is very, very important that you speak within the time limit, okay? You gotta account for, number 1, the time that they call you, go to the stage and you shake the MC's hand. Maybe you're gonna get a clicker, maybe you're gonna get situated on the stage. The second thing you gotta account for is the pauses, because you wanna pause to have an impact. You also wanna account for the audience participation. If you ask how many of you do wanna know XYZ, or how many of you have felt this way before. So you wanna, when you rehearse your talk, you wanna make sure you wait a little bit to get imagine the audience is answering. And if you have any type of a joke that people are going to be laughing, you also have to count for that. Because in my case, I'm like, how come I went over 50 seconds? Obviously, it's not a huge deal, but for me that prepared 16 times and I was under 24 minutes, I'm like, how come is that possible? My mind was just like, I want to find the answer. And finally, when I analyzed my recording, I realized that the 50 seconds that I went over was because the beginning of between the person introducing me and I walk on the stage and I shake the guy's hand and I get my clicker, right? And then in addition to people laughing during my jokes in the talk, that added the extra 50 seconds. Actually, 1:50, right? So anyway, I hope that this video is valuable for you, because it's very, very important that if someone gives you 25 minutes or 15 or 10, you respect the time. It's very, very, very important. I hope you guys learn from my mistakes. Roberto Monaco here with InfluenceOlogy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.